It all started in a small garage, surrounded by ordinary household items, bottles, containers, and a pile of discarded plastic. Most people see plastic as waste, a problem for landfills and oceans. But one experimenter decided to test an idea. Could plastic be transformed into usable fuel? Over the course of several months, using controlled processes, careful measurements, and safety equipment, they claimed to produce a substance resembling gasoline. But here's the question. Is it actually possible to turn plastic into usable gasoline safely and legally at home, or is this just a dangerous experiment no one should try? Let me know your answer in the comments below. Plastic waste continues to be a global problem, with millions of tons ending up in landfills or oceans every year. Researchers and companies have long explored ways to convert plastic into fuel through chemical processes such as pyrolysis, which involves heating plastics in the absence of oxygen to break down polymers into oil-like substances. The experimenter behind this video documented every step carefully. According to public records, industrial methods exist that legally convert plastic into fuel, but they require specialized equipment, temperature control, and environmental permits. The experimenter claims their home setup mimicked some principles of these processes without violating safety regulations or interfering with utility systems. Official guidance emphasizes that uncontrolled chemical reactions with plastics can release toxic fumes or pose fire hazards. No certified utility or environmental agency has verified the DIY setup, and this script assumes all steps are documented safely and hypothetically for educational purposes. Incident, shot, event, narrative. Step 1. Plastic collection and preparation. The first step involves selecting clean, dry plastic bottles, containers, and packaging. Labels and contaminants were removed to ensure uniformity. All materials were shredded into small pieces to allow even heating. Step 2. Controlled heating. Using a sealed, heat-resistant container, the shredded plastic was gradually heated under controlled temperatures. The experimenter logged temperature changes, vapor production, and time intervals. Small condensates formed on the container's walls, which were collected carefully. Step 3. Collection of fuel-like substance. Over several hours, the condensed liquids were extracted and analyzed. The experimenter noted color, consistency, and volatility, comparing observations to typical gasoline properties. Step 4. Safety measures. Throughout the process, protective equipment was used, including gloves, goggles, and proper ventilation. Fire extinguishers and carbon monoxide detectors were in place, highlighting that safety is the top priority in any chemical experiment at home. Turning plastic into fuel raises several legal considerations. Industrial plastic-to-fuel processes require environmental permits. Home experiments must comply with local fire codes, chemical handling regulations, and occupational safety rules. One interpretation is that producing small amounts for educational demonstration is legally permissible if no public utility, chemical, or fire codes are violated. Another perspective emphasizes risk. Improper ventilation, temperature control, or storage could violate safety regulations and local laws. This is for informational purposes and not legal advice. Initial observation that condensed liquids resembled gasoline. Peer testing by hobbyists showing inconsistent results. Expert feedback on toxicity, flammability, and regulatory compliance. Realization that most energy content comes from controlled chemical breakdown rather than the physical presence of plastic alone. The experiment illustrates that plastic can, under certain conditions, be converted into fuel-like substances. However, results vary widely, and legal and safety compliance is critical. So here's the final question. Do you think DIY plastic-to-fuel experiments are a viable alternative, or are they too risky to attempt at home? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For more verified legal breakdowns and investigative experiments, subscribe and hit the notification bell. It all started in a small garage with nothing more than a pile of discarded plastic bottles, containers, and packaging material. Most people see plastic as trash, something to throw away and forget. But one individual saw a possibility. What if plastic could be transformed into fuel? Over several months, they documented every step, carefully noting temperatures, chemical reactions, and safety measures. The goal was clear. Explore whether ordinary household plastic could be converted into a substance resembling gasoline. But here's the question. Is it actually possible to turn plastic into usable gasoline safely and legally at home, or is this just a dangerous experiment no one should try? Let me know your answer in the comments below. Plastic pollution is one of the largest environmental problems of our time, with millions of tons ending up in landfills or oceans each year. Scientists and companies have long researched methods to convert plastic into fuel. One common method is pyrolysis, a process where plastics are heated in the absence of oxygen to break polymers into liquid hydrocarbons. Industrial facilities use this method under controlled conditions, with specialized equipment, proper ventilation, and environmental permits. The experimenter behind this video followed some principles of these processes at home, using small quantities and controlled heating. According to public reports, while industrial-scale plastic-to-fuel processes are legal with permits, DIY home experiments carry significant risks if safety or legal regulations are ignored. Authorities emphasize that uncontrolled chemical reactions can release toxic fumes or cause fires. This script assumes all steps are hypothetically documented safely, for educational and investigative purposes only. Month 1. Collection and Preparation. The first month focused on collecting and preparing plastics. All bottles and containers were cleaned thoroughly, with labels and contaminants removed. The plastic was then shredded into small pieces to allow uniform heating. Using a heat-resistant container, the shredded plastic was gradually heated. The experimenter logged temperatures and recorded vapors that formed during heating. Condensed liquids appeared on the container walls, and these were carefully collected. Preliminary results were promising. Small amounts of liquid resembling gasoline were observed. Safety was the top priority. Ventilation, gloves, goggles, and fire extinguishers were all in place. Month 2. Controlled heating and refinements. During the second month, the experimenter refined the heating process, using temperature sensors to monitor consistent heat levels. Condensation methods were improved to capture more liquid fuel. Energy readings and liquid volume were logged meticulously. Reports noted that most energy content came from chemical breakdown rather than simple melting. Experts agree that pyrolysis-like reactions are the primary reason plastics can produce hydrocarbon liquids. Month 3. Safety checks and expert review. By the third month, the experimenter invited a certified chemical safety advisor to review the process. The advisor confirmed that all safety measures were in place and that the small-scale experiment did not violate local regulations. Key observations included: proper temperature control prevents fires, ventilation prevents harmful fume accumulation, small-scale setups avoid illegal environmental discharge. However, it was emphasized that scaling this up would require permits and industrial-grade equipment. Month 4. Documenting results. By month 4, the experimenter had documented several liters of liquid. Physical tests compared the liquid's color, viscosity, and volatility to commercial gasoline. Results showed similarities in flammability and density, but the liquid was not refined enough for direct engine use. Independent hobbyists attempted similar experiments and reported varied outcomes, demonstrating that results are highly dependent on materials, equipment, and procedure accuracy. Month 5. Peer testing and replication. To test reproducibility, the experimenter shared methods with trusted hobbyists. Some reported partial success, others struggled with temperature regulation or condensation capture. Experts highlighted that variations in plastic composition and impurities dramatically affect outcomes. Legal guidance remained consistent. Small-scale educational experiments are generally tolerated, but industrial or large-scale production requires permits. Month 6. Legal and safety analysis. Producing fuel at home has legal considerations. Home experiments must comply with fire codes, chemical handling regulations, and environmental laws. Industrial-scale pyrolysis requires permits and monitoring for emissions. One interpretation is that producing small amounts for educational purposes is legally permissible if no local codes are violated. Another perspective emphasizes risk. Poor ventilation, improper heating, or storage could violate safety regulations and lead to civil or criminal liability. This is for informational purposes only, and not legal advice. Observation that condensed liquid resembled gasoline. Expert review confirming safe handling but highlighting risks. Peer attempts demonstrating inconsistent results. Recognition that energy content derives from chemical breakdown, not simply the physical presence of plastic. Each turning point underscores the importance of documentation, safety, and legal awareness. Comparison with other energy hacks. Other DIY energy-saving methods include solar panels, smart plug timers, and energy-efficient appliance upgrades. These methods are generally safer and legally straightforward. The plastic-to-fuel experiment highlights innovation, but results vary widely, and legal compliance and safety are paramount. The experiment shows that, under controlled conditions, plastic can produce liquid hydrocarbons resembling gasoline. However, outcomes are inconsistent, and safety and legal compliance are critical. So here's the final question. Do you think DIY plastic-to-fuel experiments are a viable alternative, or are they too risky to attempt at home? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For more verified legal breakdowns, scientific investigations, and educational experiments, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated.